In a world where people provoke, guilt trip, pressure, and manipulate to get reactions, real power is quiet. The most difficult person to control isn't the loudest one. It's the calm one. Most people lose their power the moment they feel the need to react. They explain too much. They defend themselves emotionally. They rush to prove their worth. And that's exactly where manipulation begins. Stoic philosophy teaches something radically different. You don't fight manipulation with aggression. You dissolve it with discipline, silence, and self-respect. Today, you're going to learn 7 silent habits practiced by people who can't be controlled, emotionally, psychologically, or socially. Not because they're cold, but because they're centered. These habits build a kind of calm power that doesn't argue, doesn't chase, and doesn't beg for validation. If you've ever felt drained after conversations, pressured into things you didn't want, or pulled into unnecessary drama, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll understand why silence, when guided by principle, becomes one of the strongest forms of self-respect. Take a breath. Let's begin. 1. They don't explain themselves to the wrong people. Most people think explaining themselves is a sign of maturity. In reality, over-explaining is often a quiet form of insecurity. When someone questions your choice, your boundary, or your silence, the instinct is to justify, "Let me explain so you don't misunderstand me." But people who can't be manipulated have learned something critical. Not everyone deserves access to your reasoning. Manipulation feeds on explanations. The more you explain, the more material you give. Your words become handles others can grab, twist, and use to pull you back into doubt. Stoic philosophy teaches that self-respect begins with discernment. You clarify when there is mutual respect. You stay silent when there is judgment, control, or hidden agenda. Think about it. A manipulative person isn't looking to understand you. They're looking for leverage. They listen not to learn, but to reply, to poke holes, to guilt you into compliance. That's why calm, grounded people don't rush to explain. They let their decisions stand without a speech attached. This doesn't mean being rude. It means being selective. There's a difference between clarifying and justifying. Clarifying is calm, brief, and optional. Justifying is emotional, defensive, and reactive. One comes from confidence. The other comes from fear of being misunderstood. People who can't be manipulated understand this. If someone respects you, a short answer is enough. If they don't, no explanation will ever be enough. So instead of explaining, they pause. They observe the tone, the intention, the energy behind the question. And sometimes, the most powerful response is no response at all. Silence does something explanations never can. It exposes intent. A respectful person adjusts. A manipulative one escalates. That contrast tells you everything you need to know. Here's the practice. The next time you feel the urge to explain yourself, ask one question internally. Is this person seeking understanding or control? If it's understanding, speak calmly and briefly. If it's control, let silence protect your boundary. You don't owe clarity to those who weaponize it. You don't owe access to your inner world to people who haven't earned trust. Self-respect isn't loud. It doesn't argue. It doesn't convince. It simply stands and lets others reveal themselves. 2. They pause. Before responding, manipulation thrives on speed. A sudden accusation, a loaded question, a passive-aggressive comment, a message designed to provoke an immediate emotional reply. Most people react instantly, and that's the trap. People who can't be manipulated have a silent habit that protects them. They pause before responding, not because they're unsure, not because they're afraid, but because they understand this stoic truth. The first reaction is rarely the wisest one. Manipulators rely on urgency. They want you emotional, rushed, slightly off balance. When you respond too fast, you respond from impulse, not principle. A pause breaks that mechanism. Even a few seconds of silence shifts the power dynamic. It signals composure. It tells the other person, "You don't control my nervous system." Stoic discipline isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about creating space between stimulus and response. In that space, clarity returns. Think about moments when someone tries to corner you verbally. A boss pressures you on the spot. A partner pushes for an answer during conflict. Someone sends a message meant to trigger guilt or fear. The calm person doesn't rush to defend. They breathe. They slow the moment down. Sometimes they respond later. Sometimes they respond shorter. Sometimes they don't respond at all. And that pause does something powerful. It forces the other person to sit with their own words. If their intent was honest, they'll wait. If their intent was manipulation, discomfort appears. That discomfort is revealing. Here's a simple practice. Before replying to anything emotionally charged, apply the 3-second rule. Pause. Take one slow breath. Ask yourself one question. If I respond calmly instead of quickly, what changes? You'll notice this immediately. Calm responses shut down manipulation. Emotional reactions feed it. People who can't be manipulated aren't quick. They're deliberate. They understand that silence is not hesitation. It's control. And control over your response is control over the entire interaction. When you slow down, you reclaim authority over your inner world. And once that authority is established, manipulation has nowhere to land. 3, they don't react to disrespect immediately. Disrespect is one of the most effective tools manipulators use, not because it's powerful, but because it's provocative. A sarcastic remark, a subtle put-down, being ignored on purpose, a comment meant to test your ego. The goal isn't communication, the goal is reaction. Most people take the bait instantly. They correct, they defend, they escalate, trying to restore status in the moment. But people who can't be manipulated do something very different. They don't react to disrespect immediately. Not because they don't notice it, but because they refuse to let ego make decisions for them. Stoic discipline teaches that character matters more than winning the moment. If someone disrespects you, reacting emotionally only gives them what they want. Control over your state. Calm people observe first. They ask internally, was this intentional or careless? Is this a pattern or a single moment? Does this person deserve a response at all? That pause creates leverage. When you react instantly, you play on their timeline. When you delay, you shift the frame. Here's the truth most people miss. Disrespect loses power when it doesn't get feedback. A manipulative person expects friction. Silence confuses them, and confusion breaks their rhythm. This doesn't mean tolerating bad behavior forever. It means responding strategically, not emotionally. Strong people don't confront from anger. They confront from clarity. Sometimes that response comes later, calm and direct. Sometimes it comes as a boundary. Sometimes it comes as distance. But it never comes as impulsive self-defense. Because self-respect doesn't shout. It doesn't chase validation. It doesn't need to prove strength in the heat of the moment. Here's the practice. The next time you feel disrespected, don't respond right away. Let the moment pass. Watch what happens next. If respect returns, it was likely unintentional. If disrespect escalates, the silence just exposed intent. Either way, you gain information, not regret. People who can't be manipulated understand this deeply. You don't correct behavior while emotions are loud. You wait until your response comes from principle, not pride. And when you finally speak, your words carry weight because they're chosen, not triggered. 4. They keep their plans and weaknesses private. One of the quietest sources of power is privacy. Most people overshare without realizing it. They talk about their goals too early. They reveal their fears too openly. They explain their struggles to people who haven't earned that access. And manipulators pay attention. People who can't be manipulated understand a hard truth. Information is leverage. When you reveal your plans, others can interfere. When you reveal your insecurities, others can press on them. Not always maliciously, sometimes unconsciously. But the result is the same. Stoic philosophy never encouraged emotional exhibition. It encouraged inner strength and outward restraint. This doesn't mean being secretive or cold. It means being intentional. Calm, grounded people move quietly. They let results speak before words do. They don't announce what they're building while it's fragile. They don't disclose weaknesses to people who haven't proven loyalty. They understand that not everyone asking questions is wishing them well. Think about how manipulation often works. Someone subtly discourages your goal. Someone warns you in a way that plants doubt. Someone uses your own words against you later. That only works if you give them the material. People with calm power don't need outside validation to begin. They don't need applause to proceed. They trust themselves enough to work in silence. There's a Stoic principle beneath this habit. Protect what's forming. Seeds grow underground for a reason. Here's the practice. Before sharing a plan or a vulnerability, ask yourself, has this person earned access to this information? If the answer isn't a clear yes, stay quiet. Privacy isn't fear, it's self-respect. And when your actions finally speak, they speak with authority, because no one saw them coming. 5. They let silence do the confronting. Most people believe confrontation requires words, explanations, arguments, proof. But people who can't be manipulated understand a deeper truth. Silence can confront more powerfully than speech. Manipulators thrive on engagement. They provoke to pull you into dialogue. They push buttons to create emotional back and forth. Because once you're talking, defending, or arguing, they're already inside your frame. Silence denies them that access. When you don't react, don't justify, don't counterattack, something uncomfortable happens. They're forced to face themselves. Silence removes the distraction. A calm, non-reactive presence creates pressure without aggression. It exposes insecurity. It reveals intention. This is why silence feels threatening to manipulative people. They can't control it, twist it, or argue with it. Stoic wisdom teaches that actions reveal character faster than words. When you stay silent, you allow patterns to surface. Watch closely. A respectful person adjusts their behavior. A manipulative person escalates, guilt trips, or becomes hostile. That reaction tells you everything. Silence isn't avoidance, it's observation. Strong people don't rush to confront every issue verbally. They let behavior repeat or correct itself before deciding their response. And when silence is paired with calm eye contact, steady posture, and emotional neutrality, it sends a clear message without saying a word. I'm not available for this dynamic. Here's the practice. The next time someone tries to provoke, resist the urge to respond immediately. Say nothing. Hold your composure. Let the moment breathe. Then ask yourself, did their behavior improve or intensify? If it improves, silence corrected it. If it intensifies, silence exposed it. Either way, you gain clarity, not conflict. People who can't be manipulated don't confront every challenge with words. They let silence do the sorting, and once the truth is visible, their next move becomes obvious. 6. They walk away without drama. Manipulation survives on emotional attachment, on explanations, on long conversations that go nowhere. People who can't be manipulated understand something most people resist. Not every situation deserves closure. When respect disappears, they don't announce it. They don't threaten. They don't explain why they're leaving. They simply step away. Stoic strength is not about winning arguments. It's about knowing when your presence is no longer required. Manipulators rely on emotional hooks, guilt, obligation, fear of being misunderstood. Drama keeps those hooks alive. Walking away quietly cuts them. No speeches, no final messages, no emotional exits, just distance. This kind of exit feels unsettling to manipulative people because it denies them the last word, and the last word is often where control hides. Calm, self-respecting individuals don't need to be understood by everyone. They value peace more than validation. They know that staying where you are disrespected slowly trains others to treat you that way. So they leave early, before bitterness sets in, before resentment grows, before they start compromising their character. Here's the practice. When a situation consistently drains you, stop negotiating internally. Ask one question: does staying here require me to abandon my values? If the answer is yes, don't argue with yourself. Reduce engagement, shorten conversations, create space. You don't need a dramatic ending to close a chapter. Sometimes the strongest message you can send is absence, because walking away in silence isn't weakness, it's clarity. And clarity is something manipulation can't survive. 7. They don't need to win. Every interaction. One of the easiest ways to lose your power is trying to win every conversation. Manipulative people love debates. They pull you into arguments not to reach truth, but to exhaust you, confuse you, or dominate the frame. People who can't be manipulated see this clearly. Not every interaction is a battlefield worth entering. Stoic calm comes from a simple realization. Being right is not the same as being at peace. When you feel the urge to correct someone, outsmart them, or prove a point, pause. Ask yourself, what do I actually gain by winning this? Often, the answer is nothing but tension. Manipulators exploit ego. They provoke disagreement to hook you emotionally. Once you're invested in winning, they already have leverage. Calm, self-respecting people don't chase intellectual victories. They choose alignment over dominance. They understand that silence, disengagement, or a neutral response preserves energy. And energy is power. Stoic wisdom teaches this clearly. You don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. Sometimes the strongest response is, I see it differently. That's not something I want to debate. Or no response at all. When you stop needing to win, manipulators lose interest. There's nothing to pull on. No emotional payoff. Here's the practice. The next time a conversation turns into a subtle power struggle, step back mentally. Notice the shift from dialogue to dominance. Then choose calm disengagement. You're not conceding, you're conserving. People who can't be manipulated don't measure strength by how many arguments they win, but by how rarely they get pulled into them. Because true power isn't loud, it isn't reactive, it doesn't need applause. It stays calm, centered, and untouched. And that calm is what makes manipulation impossible. Calm power. Final reminder. What you've just learned isn't about becoming cold, distant, or detached from life. It's about becoming grounded. People who can't be manipulated don't rely on volume, aggression, or constant explanation. They rely on something far more rare: inner order. They don't explain themselves to the wrong people. They pause before responding. They don't react impulsively to disrespect. They protect their plans and vulnerabilities. They let silence do the confronting. They walk away without drama. And they don't need to win every interaction. These aren't tricks, they're habits. Habits that signal self-respect. Habits that calm the nervous system. Habits that quietly tell the world, I am not available for manipulation. Stoic power was never meant to make life easier. It was meant to make you stronger. When you stop reacting, when you stop over-explaining, when you stop negotiating your boundaries, something shifts. You don't need to control others anymore, because you've mastered yourself, and that is the highest form of power. If one of these habits stood out to you, reflect on it today. Practice it in silence. Let it become part of your character, not your performance. If this message resonated, support the channel by liking and subscribing. It helps more people find calm strength in a noisy world. And remember this: silence guided by principle is not weakness. It is unshakable self-respect. Stay calm, stay grounded, and walk your path quietly.